Star Trek is owned by CBS Studios, Inc. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of. Every human being who ever was lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor, and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Imagination will often carry us to worlds that never were, but without it we go nowhere. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. These are the voyages of the USS Pegasus.
Oh, we're talking about the power source and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, we were.
And there was a comment of, "Hey, let's transport the AI to the ship."
That was Aura.
Because we didn't have the capacity to basically store it, like on a hard disk, let's say. But whatever.
No.
We didn't have the capacity to do that. To do that, it would require the thing to complete the research. So that was kind of where we were. It was like Marina does not want to stay there. I don't think she wanted to tarry there.
Marina's in shock.
Didn't want to leave she didn't want to have the thing complete the AI complete the research either.
No, she doesn't. But we can bring that up with her another time when she's less in shock.
Perhaps we should return to the captain and see if what he thinks about having an AI on board. If he has any solutions to accommodating.
We do need to transport Mr. Lazopoulos' body back to the ship so I can carry out an autopsy.
Okay. So we can open a channel with the ship and have them 2 to beam up, and then we'll have to go to another room to continue communicating with the captain and explain the situation to him. So Kelle can accompany sorry, I guess that would be 3 to beam up. So Kelle and the deceased and Marina.
Yes. She
And,
needs
yeah,
to.
the 3 of
get
us
to
will
the ship
stay
too.
down here, and we'll have to figure out a solution to that problem. So I'll do that. I'll open a channel with the ship. Say 3 to beam up. One might not have a life sign, so we want to beam up. Although they already knew that, right?
I don't
Didn't
know.
we contact them? Didn't we contact them immediately when we got here?
Not to my knowledge, but I
Okay.
could be misremembering.
Okay. If not, then we tell them now.
Where would you like the deceased to be beamed to, Lieutenant Kelle?
Sickbay, please.
And who are the 3 that are being beamed up?
That would be myself, the deceased, and his daughter.
And she is very distressed since no one actually told her that was about to happen,
Ah,
as she was getting her gear together is where you left her.
yes. Sorry, I didn't know it was going to happen immediately, or I would have told her. Too late.
So she's looking quite stunned. Not that she's unfamiliar with beaming, just that she didn't know it was going to happen.
Fair enough. We have
That
to
is
remember
very
that.
fair.
Damn, I have to remember it too.
Oh dear, I'm very sorry. That was very sudden.
And your technician is looking a little bit like, I was told to do it.
Nope, yes, that's fine. Thank you.
And it's just you and her in the transporter room.
Yes. I assume I would know who I would need to talk to get her set up with somewhere to stay. Great, because I'd like to do that rather than bring her back to Medbay where...
I have no idea who it would be, but it would be completely feasible. You know the procedure on what you would do.
Okay,
You know
then
there would be spare rooms, not necessarily guest rooms, but there's spare rooms.
Kelle would basically... She'll take care of you. Yeah, Kelle would basically like to, A, get her set up somewhere, and B, have someone keep an eye on her for the time being, since she was showing signs of shock, but I don't want to have her come hang out in Medbay while, we beamed her dead father there, so...
So it's like an extra crew quarters is what you have. So it's not flashy, but it's functional.
Alright. Excellent. I'm very sorry about the abrupt nature of our departure. If it's alright with you, you can just stay here for a while, try and get some rest. I have some things to take care of, but I am going to have someone stay here to keep an eye on you, and if you need anything, you can let them know.
It was very unexpected, but thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, I am sorry. That was not well thought out on our part. And if she seems like she will be able to get settled, then Kelle will head to the medbay.
She goes over to the replicator and gets a beverage of some kind and sits down. She's a little shaky.
Mm-hmm. And if there's just no random crew members available to leave with her, then I will send a nurse or someone. She'll create an ensign. If Marina's settled, Kelle's gonna go start basically doing a post-mortem, I guess, which we can probably have go on in the background of what other people want to do, because I don't think I can do a great, 10-minute explanation of a post-mortem.
Be fun to watch you try.
Yes, and an incision there. Yep. That's great. Okay, we need to look at lungs. Those are good to... Yeah, what's up with those?
We need to reverse the polarity of the neutron flow.
Yes, we do.
But you can give me a roll because you might generate momentum. I don't know if
Yes.
you're going to need it, but it's always, fair to
Yes,
generate
I figured I would need to roll, but that I probably could let other things happen too. What's that going to be?
Reason...
Medicine?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. And I assume I can add a die for all the lovely medical equipment in the med bay?
That is correct.
Excellent. I'm trying to remember what she told me. She told me he had a heart failure. Yeah, okay. Okay, excellent. Well, not excellent, but excellent in terms of it lines up with what I remember, so my brain's not entirely done for.
So yeah, okay, we'll assume that that's going to take you a little bit of time to, do a proper...
So we can cut to other people. And sorry, did that give us a momentum?
Yeah, how many successes did you get?
2.
Then you did.
Yes, okay.
What's this AI look like? Is it like solid or is it just like a projection?
It's like a projection, but it doesn't have a projector that, it's not like an overhead projector shining a light down and that's where she is. She seems to form. So more like a hologram.
So it's made out of matter.
Light, more than anything. It's transparent. And it does move. It does fade out and then appear, like when the XO was saying something, she did fade out and appear next to the XO, and then when you said something about landscape, she faded from there and appeared next to you.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't seem to ever have picked anything up.
Even my explanation about landscapes?
Don't know if anyone picked that up. I'm sorry.
I'll stick with ships.
Okay.
Well, heck, I don't know what to do.
What?
Hunt's looking around, sort of a little bit confused. Like this AI's just staring at him. He's like just shrugging. Yeah, he just shrugs.
I'm going to excuse myself then and go to... is there a place where we can... I can't remember. Was this a breathable atmosphere outside?
No.
It's an asteroid.
Oh, right.
So it's got life support within, and
Yeah.
it looks like it's been jury-rigged from the ship that came here originally.
Okay. So that makes it a little bit tricky to talk to the captain about this. Okay, well, we'll have to just be very forthright about it then. I'll communicate the captain that we have an AI that it's going to take some time to complete the study. However, were we under a time crunch to get everything off of this asteroid?
Nope, there was no disaster or anything.
There's no black hole here.
Yeah,
luckily.
There was nothing looming.
No. The problem for her was her father had died. That's that. But there was no.
Okay.
There was no imminent problem outside of that. There was no life support failure or anything.
Okay, so is there really any downside to us just leaving and saying, okay, we'll come back in 3 months when you're finished the research, or did the thing need someone to stay here to continue to help?
I don't know, Mr. Yennek. I've not yet. The only information I have is what you've given me.
Okay, I will ask the AI then. Teal, is there any requirement for you to have someone here while you complete the work of Dr. Lazopoulos' study?
I do not think so.
Okay. Would you be opposed to us coming back and visiting you in 3 months' time?
I would like the company.
Okay. I mean, I think that's about as good of a resolution as we are going to get, people.
Well, Teal, can you think of any way you could come with us? Are you aware of any technology that portable that could house you?
Providing there is enough space in the memory banks, whether they be integrated in the ship or external, and a power source to keep me going.
If you didn't have a power source, would you just go into like sleep mode and we could wake you up when we had a power source?
If you did not have oxygen, would you just go to sleep?
In a sense. We wouldn't be able to wake back up from that, though.
Yep, that would be definitely a permanent sleep.
As would mine without power.
Installing the AI into the ship's computers, I mean, I'm quite sure that's a non-starter. At least for me. I mean, we can always try to run it by the captain, but...
Yes, but didn't we discuss this before, that the power that this is running on is exponentially more larger than what we could provide?
All I know is that the power supply that is powering the facility is the one that came from the ship. Although I am not an engineer, that does not cover my programming, that the size of being only 3 rooms is well below what the output of the ship's core was producing.
Well, that might be true, but this thing is only operating for you, basically, and this small facility, whereas the ship's core has to power the whole ship, and I'm assuming that any drain on that could put us at a greater disadvantage if we come under a situation which might put strain on the core of the ship. So,
well, think of it this way. If we are in a situation like that, wouldn't it be great to have an AI on our side that could analyze the situation and come up with solutions we wouldn't think of?
Yes, I would be interested to see how being sucked into a black hole philosophy could, pull us out of that one.
It would be great, but your question is the problem right there. Wouldn't it be great to have an AI on our side? If such any kind of a conflict were to take place, what's your guarantee that the AI will be on your side?
Whose side would I be on?
You would be on the side that you think is right.
Which side is that?
We think it's our side, but we don't think what you think.
All right.
That's
so let me put this to you.
This is becoming a question of your quest to become close to human means that you're going to rationalize things and make decisions for yourself. That is why I cannot, in good conscience, give you access to the entire ship.
I had not considered that was my motivation.
My consideration must be for the safety of the entire ship and crew.
She appears to be thinking, as if she's never thought about this before. And then she looks at Hunt, who looked like he was going to say something.
Well, Hunt's also thinking like he's never thought about this before.
He's thinking like he's never thought before.
Yes.
Is that possible for a human?
Too many times do we leap before we... actually, too many times do we act before we think.
I see.
So would you... I'm just curious if you had any feelings either way towards being switched off.
I have no self-preservation in my parameters.
But surely you have a desire to live if your desire is to complete the programming.
I would like to complete my programming.
But you can't complete your programming if you're shut off.
That is correct. But self-preservation does not appear to be part of my motivational programming.
Maybe at present, once you finish the programming. In 1950s Earth formed a series of studies at Manchester University. This was more commonly known as the imitation, effectively turned off. That person would always choose to live. That is the essence of life.
If you asked anybody, I'm sure that there would be people who would say, nah, just kill me now, rather than... Especially if you've been on the outer fringes. If you're stuck in a situation where it's a no-win situation. We've all been through the Kobayashi Maru test. What's the point
What
in
is
doing...
Kobayashi Maru?
What's the point in doing that? It's an unwinnable situation. It's like a test. It's totally unfair. It's supposed to, I guess, measure you as a person, to show you that there is no such thing as all situations are winnable situations. So this situation teaches you that not every situation is winnable or would favor you, or so I didn't agree with the test, so I didn't apply myself to the test, basically.
Why?
What's the point in playing something or participating in something where you know you are eventually going to die?
You are human. Are you not always eventually going to die?
Yes, eventually we will.
Is it not the journey then, not the destination?
That is correct. So what's the point in, I guess, pretending about a situation which could never be, which is, you could never win. So what's the point?
I think it's best if it stays here to complete the work. And, maybe we can...
you talked of the Turing test to denounce, in some ways, work out if AI is life, but you still refer to me as it.
Sorry, had you decided on a specific pronoun?
I had not, but...
So I'm giving you the freedom of choice, which is the very essence of life itself.
From my employer, he always said that when sentient life forms used it was always a form of insult.
I am Vulcan. I do not have the emotional capability to insult nor be insulted.
Then are you not similar to an AI?
I truly am. An AI represents the epitome of what all Vulcans strive for.
Hunt sat down on the couch. He's laying down on
the couch,
tossing up one of the cushions in the air and catching it.
She looks over. Is this not your Kobayashi Maru test now?
What? He stops and looks over at Teal. What's the Kobayashi Maru? What are you referring to?
You appear to be in a no-win situation.
Hunt's looking around the room with what? No win in regards to what?
Your current situation.
I'm always in a no-win situation, but yeah.
Oh no.
So, by that logic, then your life is the Kobayashi Maru, and you said that you do not try. Do you not try at life?
How long has everyone been discussing philosophy for, do they think? Has it been an hour yet?
No, it's probably about half an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm still doing a postmortem.
Oh, us, yeah. Oh God, it seems like 2 hours, maybe 3.
Kelle is asking if you need help.
Yeah.
I think Emily is
Does,
asking
yes.
if we need help.
Hey, Kelle's gonna come back when she's done the postmortem, and apparently that would take about an hour. So whenever you think it's been about an hour, then Kelle's coming back.
Exo.
No.
I don't
Yes.
want to go over your head. I want to talk to the captain about possibly bringing the AI on board and seeing what he thinks about that. I know you are opposed to the idea, but would you let me contact the captain anyway? I would like
Yes.
to get his opinion. Thank you. And I hit my comms badge. Captain,
Yes.
as you've been informed about the AI here, there is a possibility of bringing the AI with us if we were to integrate it into the ship's computer and use the ship's power supply to help power it. We think that it won't cause a significant drain on the ship's power, but we cannot say for sure. I, as the science officer, believe that it would be very beneficial to have an AI as part of our crew, essentially. But the Commander Yennek disagrees. I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Commander Yennek, what's your disagreement?
Captain, we are proposing to take on an unknown alien intelligence and give it full control of the ship. And on top of that, we are not sure if we have enough power to run the AI.
Why would
this
you give it
is-
full control of the ship? Who said?
You're
said that?
integrating it into the ship's systems. If you have a way that you can think that you can stop it, for one, you don't know even how strong of an AI it is. I mean, we are. It's like meeting something that says it's an all-powerful being, and then you're saying, "Hey, why don't you come aboard our ship to stay with us? And why don't you come aboard? And here's all the passwords and everything to do everything to our ship." I don't think this is a very illogical idea.
It is possible we could isolate it to certain sections of the ship. However, as it is an AI, it's smarter than I am, or has the potential to be. Can't say for sure. It could be contained to any one area. However, it doesn't seem to have any sort of hostile intent. It's purely made to think and to solve problems.
Mr. Hunt, your view?
Hunt's just staring blank at
Which the captain can't see.
Exo. He's staring blank at the Exo. He's looking at
No, feel free to speak your mind, Commander.
He's looking at Thatcher. Looks back at Yennek. Well, to be honest, it's just a computer program. That's, as far as I'm aware, has just been specifically designed to carry out the tasks of the professor. So I don't see how it could be of any benefit to, by integrating this thing into our ship anyway. So
I believe. Well, we've never seen anything like this before. We've never seen.
I
an
agree.
AI And
But we don't need to integrate this into our ship, though. That's the more complex. No, actually, I'm going off sidetracking. You're inviting an entity into the system which could potentially open up our systems to to be vulnerable to system-wide attack. As you know, when you're building a ship, you're building it. You compartmentalizing, and you're doing the same thing with programs as well. So, allowing this thing to even have any part of the ship, access to the ship systems, I think makes us vulnerable. If there was a way to be able to bring this system aboard, maybe in its current state, we could dismantle the station, in the minimal sense, just taking what it needs to be able to be activated. Then I would agree to that. Like, I would say that would be a safe thing to do. But the power for this, how big's the power? Was it 3 rooms long or something?
It was a large room, but yeah, you're not sure how much power it's the ship's core that they took from whatever ship.
So it was the
he
ship's
flew
core,
in.
so it should be able to fit in the bay, but that would mean having to shift everything around, and at some point that would become just illogical, as Hunt says in that way. He's looking at the XO. Once we take it to a station, then yeah, fair enough. We can have scientists analyzing this thing. So,
well, think of it this way: Teal could be the secret to winning any war in the future. If we are able to create our own AIs with their own specialized goals, then yes, this AI is made for philosophy. But
can I ask Jim a question?
AI made for anything.
Have we encountered the Borg yet?
Yes.
Yeah, this was right after the Borg, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I heard shock.
So you are essentially opening us to something that could potentially be a second Borg attack.
If that were to happen, we could have an AI on our side that could eliminate them without...
Again, you keep saying that it's on our side. You have demonstrated at least zero proof that it is on our side.
You're right, but you would program it to be.
Then it's not an artificial intelligence if it's not thinking for itself. You're violating the main rule of artificial intelligence.
It can think for itself and also have an allegiance.
You're programming it to have an allegiance. You're removing the freedom of choice from it.
Yes.
You cannot say that and call it an artificial intelligence.
All artificial intelligence are programmed. They're just programmed to learn and to increase their knowledge and come to their own conclusions about things.
I suppose there's that, like that. Who is it? What's his name? Some android serving on the Enterprise.
Commander Data is a prime example of all that is right with AI. Commander Data has proven himself to be a loyal Starfleet member over years of service. Commander Data wasn't immediately linked to the first ship that he served on and made captain. This is what we are attempting to do here. I think it's illogical to the point of courting disaster.
I don't know if we have to link her to the ship.
She should go through Starfleet just like everybody else.
I don't know if her programming on its own is able to...
He looks at Teal.
Do that.
Hunt looks at Teal and he's like...
she's been listening in.
So, yeah, if you were ever interested in learning about the human experience, then you would get to experience the Kobayashi Maru. And I, for one, would love to see you sit that test. Front row seat. I would be there.
Kelle has been
Definitely.
added to the conversation. She's still not there, but she's been added to the conversation. So, who's taking the Kobayashi Maru?
Teal.
Oh, okay. It sounds much more heated down there than when I left.
What? No.
No, it's not heated.
No.
Oh,
We're not
So-
throwing things yet, so everything's
Yeah.
fine.
The temperature in the room has remained constant. There has been many interesting things put forward.
what kind of interesting things?
About the role of AI and allegiances and Starfleet.
Oh. You all have been busy, apparently.
Yes, they have, says the captain.
What's
I
been
forgot
going...
the captain's
The
comment.
captain's part of
this.
this, yeah. He's part of this conversation, too. What exactly is the issue at the moment?
There seems to be some debate, putting it politely, over integrating Teal into the ship systems and the threat that may possess. Exactly what allegiance she may possess, what exactly she is, and how we should proceed.
Teal, if you were going to complete your work, would you prefer to do that where you are now or on board the ship if that were possible?
I have no preference.
It would be fine with you either way?
It would.
Well, we can't very well leave her here, can we? So if we were to leave her here, we would have to deactivate her, because we do not want this AI to be discovered by, let's say, the Romulans, for example.
That is a valid point. You've put forward a concern about what she may be able to do in the future if she was used incorrectly. Leaving her unattended does sound a bad idea then.
Mm-hmm. I agree, Captain.
Teal, would you ever hurt a human or another species?
If I was capable of doing so, I would say no.
So in other words,
Why?
yes.
I am unclear on how that means yes.
Well, we've already established that this is an AI, and as Thatcher has already explained, we can program her. So, in essence, would not the same be said for anyone who had sinister intentions, be able to program her?
I do feel
The-
you're all getting a bit ahead of yourselves, as we still haven't answered the question of whether or not Teal should complete Dr. Lizopoulos' work, as Marina is firmly against that.
Oh, I said yes, I think she should complete the work.
I personally
I
believe
said
so
that right
as
from the
well.
beginning.
However, there is Marina's feelings to take into consideration, as well
Okay.
as potential ownership disputes over the work in progress.
Lieutenant Alana has informed me that there is absolutely no precedent for a case like this.
I'm sure she has.
Data is probably our closest, and nothing in the records that has related to data connects to anything remotely similar to what's happening here.
Well, what about their encounter with Law?
What about it?
Well, that's a classic example of a
Of an aggressive AI, possibly, if that's how
Yes,
we see law, but
That seems a bit of a jump, as Teal has certainly not shown any signs of aggression.
but in forms of
Well,
property, we don't know. That was answered with data, but it's not been answered with a being like Teal. At what point does an AI become not property?
was the professor doing research for Starfleet?
No.
No, but neither was Nunyan Sun.
If we would like for Teal to complete the paper, the only way to do so without causing possible trouble in the future in regards to ownership, or at the very least in regards to gravely upsetting the daughter of the deceased doctor, we would need to get Marina's permission, which I imagine would be fairly difficult.
So the question, what we're being asked right now is Teal
Property of
something
Starfleet?
that is
Or-
property of anyone, or should Teal be allowed to complete Teal's work?
I don't consider that she would be property. However, the problem of ownership arises with the paper itself, as it was Dr. Lizopolis's paper originally, and Teal would be completing it.
Okay.
Lieutenant Alana has informed me that in her opinion, and I do not doubt her, Starfleet judicial system will probably side with the daughter being a human over the AI.
That would be my feeling as well.
I agree.
Now, how long would it take to finish this paper?
Teal said it would be a matter of months, I believe. Is that correct?
That is correct. So we have one option, as the initial report said that she was in shock. We let Teal continue to work on the paper and see if the feelings of the bereaved changes over time, whether it be in the next 3 months, 3 years, next decade, what have you. The paper would then be completed. We could possibly keep it at the state that it is currently in, as well, in case the daughter ever wishes to complete it herself. First question. Do you think the AI is alive?
I think the question is of personhood rather than living or not. She's certainly not biologically alive, but I would consider her a person.
Hunt?
She's aware, but no sense of self-preservation, so no.
Not all humans possess that either, Commander.
Well,
Lieutenant Aura says you fit that bill sometimes.
I believe that she is a computer program that has sentience. And we in Starfleet believe that all sentient life should be preserved.
Exo?
I would say that, Teal at this stage of development is still a system as opposed to a person. But at the same time, I do believe that Teal should be allowed to complete the work to see its programming through.
So have you determined exactly how much space she requires and how much power she requires to survive?
Right now, she's running on a photon antimatter drive from a ship.
But does she
So that
require
would
all
be
of that power?
Well, that's what we are unable to determine.
Can I do a roll to see if I can figure that out?
I think that would be a good idea, Mr. Aura.
Yes, please roll some dice, Lieutenant.
You think that might take you a little bit of time, but he's like,
Okay.
all right. I would suggest at the moment you look into those possibilities, see if we can actually narrow down exactly the space requirements and the power requirements.
Now, there's also the issue of having to integrate the system into the systems of the ship.
Well, if we can find out the space requirements, we may be able to use external memory banks that are not connected to the ship.
Okay.
So that's one success.
Okay, so Lieutenant Aura goes off and starts doing some calculations. So is there anything else at the moment?
No, I mean, if you think we can effectively isolate the system from our systems, then I'm all for that.
Well, we won't know that until we actually know exactly how much this system is going to require. But if it's not outside of our doing so, I think that may be a way to...
My only objection was that I did not want to expose a foreign system to our ship systems. That was the beginning and the end of my objection to the plan.
So if we can, depending on how much she requires, we may be able to create a subsystem that is not connected to our ship in any way, other than allocating power. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, but
If
it's going to,
possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So that's really just at the moment. That's the big question. I don't know how much space she requires. If it's too much, then we would have to use the main memory banks, which would, even on some level, even if we firewalled her in, there would still be on some level she'd be connected to the main systems of the ship. So we really just need to see how much power she requires and how much space, and we may be able then to create a subsystem for her away from...
Well, then we need to have a contingency to purge her out of the system
That is correct.
if anything goes wrong.
That would seem prudent.
In my scientific opinion, I believe that she is not capable of causing harm to the ship in her present state. My knowledge of AI and my knowledge of this AI, just from communicating with her. I mean, yes, but I perhaps am not as cautious as you, but at the same point, this is an amazing scientific discovery, and I feel that it would be a huge waste and a setback for all of our planets if we ignore her or turn her off.
Well, I also believe it would be unnecessarily cruel.
I can agree with all of that. However, the choice isn't really ours to make. The choice to turn her off is going to be decided by a panel of peoples, maybe us included in that panel. And we will have to accept the judgment of that panel, regardless of our attachments to one side or the other.
All right. Well, for now, proceed with trying to obtain that information, and we will go from there. Because which one were you looking at, power or space?
Space first.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at the power then. Lovely.
Oh no, a 19.
One success, but it's a
That's
19.
good.
That's okay, 19's all right.
she's there. Hello again.
Oh, you're back. That was quick.
Lieutenant.
About an hour. It's
Oh, sorry. I thought autopsies take like a whole day.
Oh, I mean, perhaps a very long time ago, yes, but with all the systems and equipment we have, it's generally a fairly quick process. And again, there wasn't much need to go very in depth. It cause of death lines up with what I thought and what Teal said. Cardiac arrest. Nothing out of the ordinary. He had a heart condition due to old age, and everything seems very within reason and to be expected.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm just interacting with the GM. So we've learned going through that it looks like the power draw shouldn't be overly taxing on the ship.
Oh.
We might have to keep Teal in non-visualization mode.
Would that be an issue for you, Teal?
That is okay. The visual representation of my form is for you more than me.
Understandable. I imagine most people are more comfortable when they have a visual component to a conversation.
That is correct.
I have some information as well. I did a scan of the entire storage unit that she is housed on, and she requires quite a bit of space. We might be able to use most of our external drives put together in a way that makes it so that she's not connected to the main system. It's going to be a bit of a close fit, but it should be possible.
All right.
There's also the issue of one getting Marina Lazopoulos' either her consent or the consent of Starfleet to do this, and two, we have to take care of the proper dismantling of the setup on this asteroid. We can't leave a photon warp drive here.
In terms of getting Marina's permission, I am not sure if we would need to do that for bringing Teal on board, as it would be a risk to leave her here. I think having her on the ship as well would be ideal in terms of it gives us more time to hopefully come to some kind of conclusion that is, if not good for everyone, at least palatable.
Agreed. So we'll have to contact Marina either way if she needs to get anything else here, because again we're going to have to dismantle this station.
Yes, she was slightly taken aback by
Yes.
the abrupt departure.
Yes. Apologies.
No, that is fine. Yes.
Do we have to be the ones to dismantle this station? Could we not report to Starfleet and have them send a proper crew for dismantling and salvaging it?
Yes, I think we would like to have some overlap though in the time. I think we don't want to leave this spot unattended.
Yes, that's fair enough. I was just not looking forward to months of construction work. We just finished that with repairing our own ship.
To be fair, we were absent for most of that.
Someone needed me?
I mean, do you have any thoughts on any of what is going on?
It's all a philosophical dilemma, which is like way out of my expertise, to be honest. So I don't think we should incorporate an artificial intelligence into our computer systems. That's plain and simple.
I don't believe that was the plan.
Well, putting it anywhere near our systems is asking for trouble. Whether it's the plan or not. The best laid plans of mice and men, but
What do mice have to do with it?
well, you can go out and fly through an asteroid field with the best intentions, the best plan, but at the end of the day, you know, you can have that freak asteroid come up and crawl up your butt.
But do you never fly
basically-
through an asteroid field just in case that happens?
What do you mean?
You don't know for certain whether or not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can make as a good a plan as you can, you know, you can try and accommodate for all
Yes.
things, but at the end of the day, things
And
can go wrong.
Would you fly through the asteroid field?
What, Tuan, what kind of question is that? Of course I would.
So, how is this any different?
I'm just saying. I am not philosophical, and I don't.
However,
like
it seems
machines controlling.
It seems unlike you to be against the riskier option.
Tuan, when I'm flying through an asteroid field, I'm not relying on a computer system to do it for me. I'm doing it myself. That's the difference.
We wouldn't be relying on a computer system to decide for us whether or not to bring Teal on board. We would be deciding ourselves.
No.
No, we wouldn't. Who would be deciding?
No, I'm saying no to the whole thing. That's my opinion.
And you are welcome to it.
And I'm just saying.
I think, in all honesty, I think the Vulcan would probably be agreeing with Hunt here, and it's hard to say if people would be completely for or completely against it, given that if we're in the timeline of they've already had a big fight with the Borg, and so I mean you can, you know, maybe the higher or the powers that be in Starfleet might be pushing super hard against any type of AI or pushing towards adopting an AI that then they can make it not a true AI and actually bend it to their will to do what they want. Like, there's people that probably looked at the Borg and said, man, can you imagine if we could get them on our side? We'd be able to rule everything. You know what I mean? I'm sure there would be people that would be thinking that way. So there's a valid argument on both sides.
Admittedly, this AI is probably more pleasing to look at than Borg.
I mean, people of all species have killed. Should I be wary of humans, for example? They certainly have many bloody wars in their history.
I also don't see the Borg as AI. They are more like a parasite. And although they might be technological in nature, they don't think for themselves. They think as a collective, which is different.
That is correct. They do not have individual sense of self.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
As Teal has a sense of herself and has expressed at least some preferences, I would not be comfortable either with shutting her off or with attempting to program her to do something against her will.
Yeah, with AI, you usually don't program them to
No, I
do
only say
specific
because
things.
Commander Yennek was saying that it seemed that if I wished to bring her aboard, that I would want to bend her to. No, I would be just as uncomfortable with that as I would be with shutting her off.
Right. I just wanted to say about AI, like, you wouldn't necessarily program them to do specific things. You would program them to have certain values and certain goals. And how they go about those goals is what makes them an AI. They would choose their own way to accomplish it.
Interesting. Programming is what is also referred to in human parlance as brainwashing.
But if it's different when you have to program it to exist in the first place.
But
Teal
then-
would not exist without programming.
No, but you could argue that if you were to program her to alter her from the way she is now, that would be a form of brainwashing.
Yeah, you could definitely argue that.
And I would.
Well, how can you brainwash her? She doesn't even have a brain.
Well, what's your brain? It's electrical impulses firing. How different is that from a computer? Just because yours is squishy and made
Organic.
of... Exactly. Different materials, same basic concept.
So you're saying my brain is a computer?
It is, in a way, an organic one. A very impressive one. An organic brain is very complicated.
Hunt's looking a little bit concerned.
Yeah, for all we know, you've already been programmed.
Oh, I know I've been programmed.
To do what?
Rules, Starfleet rules and regulations.
So that's brainwashing, is it?
Yes, but I like to break my programs. So.
I don't think you should say that too loud, Hunt.
I think it's a little late
Wait,
at this
was
point.
the comm channel open?
I'm pretty sure we're still on a comm channel. With
No, the captain left, I believe.
Did the captain leave?
You'd hope so.
I was pretty sure he said he was gonna go do something else while we were looking at the power and whatever.
Was the captain going off doing other stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not talking to us anymore.
Yep. So we've figured out our power and storage requirements. We've told the ship that Marina can beam back down at her convenience and gather
Collect
her belongings.
Yes.
Yes. She can finish packing.
Her
Came up with
interrupted
one
packing.
sock in one hand, and it was like, what?
Yeah, she beamed onto the Pegasus with like one shirt she was mid-folding and... Oh dear. Oh well?
Yep, I'll just fly the ship.
Right now?
You just tell me where to go and I'll fly it. I have no... yeah.
You have no...
Well, you already know my viewpoint on this matter.
We will just be the "we told you so" guys.
Ah. Well, if that comes to pass, I will be very interested to hear about that.
Well, we're not really integrating this thing into the computer, like on a permanent situation.
We're not.
Nope.
We're trying to not.
We're integrating it so far as to take it to like Narendra the station where we hail from.
It's going to be running on a self-contained, isolated network. Whether that holds or not is another question entirely. But that is the plan, at least. So it's a good plan. It is a good plan.
Well, we can't very well leave her here, so...
No, we're not. I don't
Agreed.
believe that anyone is is for that.
That's all decided. We've got the space on board the ship. We've got the power requirements on board the ship.
Yes.
Is Teal
I
still
think-
there?
Yes,
I
she's
think
been
it's
listening to
fine.
all this.
We move. But I mean, I think what Chris and I were both saying before, or sorry, what Thatcher and Yennek were saying before, it's going to take some time to get everything dismantled and everything, and
Yep.
we'll have to have Starfleet send some more things here to take care of that.
By stalling and not deciding yet, Kelle didn't mean about whether we were bringing her on board or not. She meant about finishing the paper.
Oh, that's
Because if we can bring her with us, then we don't have to decide that now. So,
Hunt gets up from the couch, stretches his arms out, and goes and picks up the 2 bags. Realizes they're quite heavy, and just sort of has them resting on the ground. He's just holding on to them.
did you want me to take one of those?
And sort of scoffs at this. It's all good, Tuan. He taps his comlink. Wonder beam up.
Oh. Alright, well, Hunt's gone.
Did the dead guy keep any notes on the creation of the AI?
The dead guy.
Guy?
He does have a name!
Dr.
Yeah,
George
well.
Osopoulos.
That guy. This is asking the GM.
Oh,
Not that you have found. There, I mean, she has a lot of information. Like, not compared to, the Pegasus's databanks when it comes to information, but I mean, even a normal person's PC, if you just sit down at it for the first time, if you're going through, all their documents and stuff that they've kept, that's going to take you a little bit. And this is 20 years worth of stuff he saved. So you have not found anything on the actual creation of the AI. And from your brief look, if there is, the chances are it will be his notes and ideas from a philosophical point of view. Because that's his whole thing. So if there is stuff, maybe, but you didn't find it. But
Okay.
I'm just trying to imagine. Everyone's like, oh no, what if she takes over the ship? And she does, and then she's just like broadcasting philosophy at everyone or something. Like, oh no. Philosophical debates are breaking out across the ship. Alright, well, is there any reason for us to remain here?
No, once we have Teal, and we've collected any information that we can, we'll beam back aboard the ship. And I think at the ship we have to wait for a replacement ship from Starfleet to arrive to begin dismantling the antimatter, the photon antimatter core.
so do you want the other ship to take her,
Antimatter drive.
or are you going to take her?
No, we will take her. If we've got the means to house and power her, we will take her. The other ship's someone's gotta oversee the dismantling. I'm not in the same reasoning that we weren't comfortable leaving Teal here unattended. We shouldn't be comfortable leaving a photon antimatter drive here either, right? Like, that could fall into the wrong hands too. So
I just wanted to be clear.
I will go to wherever Teal was beamed to.
She has not been beamed to because she needs to be dismantled.
Yes. She does.
Okay, then I will go and begin making preparations.
So where do you want to put her?
The AI will be housed. Probably don't want to put it in the engineering deck.
I mean, you do have a cargo bay, I believe.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking. Give me a second. Yeah, we will put it in the docking bay that's not being used. And we'll have to set up whatever kind of stopgaps to ensure that that the AI is self-contained,
Okay.
and then make accommodations to have sufficient power rerouted.
Okay, so who do you want to build the memory unit, and how do you want to connect? Because you're going to need some personnel.
Well, I think Thatcher had said he created some science personnel, right? So yeah, we will have the computer scientists working on setting up a system of fail-safe stuff, and then we will also have the team of electrical engineers setting up the proper power thing, and then we will have the computer guys also checking in on the power to be certain that nothing can be easily transmitted there. And then I also am suggesting we find a way to properly transport the AI here without beaming it, because I don't know if it can escape and float through somehow that way or not. If that's not possible, then okay, that's fine. But if it is possible, then we want to try to make sure that doesn't happen. Is that doing it right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
It must
4
be
and
right.
4.
4 days for both. Like what the electrical
Okay.
team and do you think before they have everything fully and safely set up?
Okay.
And then it'll be using the same team to then go down, beam down, and then do the transfer.
Yeah, if they can, sure.
So it's going to take 3 days once they beam down to move her, and then it's going to take 2 days for a second ship to arrive in system.
Okay.
Or they do bring her on board, I will let Marina know that is happening so she doesn't, I don't know, get very upset later that she wasn't told.
I think she'd be kind of somewhat suspicious if we'd been sitting there for 4 days.
Yeah, probably, but I'll still let her know because it seems polite.
Cool. So that's what you're doing for the next 4 days? And the second ship that arrives starts to work on dismantling the asteroid facility.
Excellent.
What's the second ship?
The Washington,
The Washington.
Okay.
USS Washington.
Excellent.
And it is an Oberth class.
Oberth?
Oberth, yeah.
Oh yeah, Hunt would have seen one of them.
So, at some point, the captain will say, Mr. Hunt, best possible speed. Narandra Station.
Yes, sir. Hunt looks down at the console, plots in a course, best speed, punches in the coordinates and the speed, and takes us into port.
The Voyages of the USS Pegasus utilizes the excellent official rules Star Trek Adventures released by Mephidius Games. Featuring Emily as Lieutenant Kelle, Shadow as Lieutenant Aura, Raveninsane as Commander Hunt, Ken as Commander Yennek, and Ghost as the GM. Many of the sounds come from Syrinscape, an excellent app for bringing more life to your gaming table. You can find us at critfail.com.
Yeah, way to throw your lieutenant commander under the bus, guys.
You're not a lieutenant commander. Are
That's
you?
right,
I thought
you're
you were
not.
just a commander.
You're a flat-out commander for every single episode.
Okay, let's do a review of the ranks. We have 2 lieutenants, we have 2 commanders, we have 0 lieutenant commanders.
Your current situation.
I'm always in a no-win situation, but yeah.
Oh no.
So, by that logic, then, your life is the Kobayashi Maru, and you said that you do not try. Do you not try at life?
Burned!
I could hear Aaron trying not to
Yes,
laugh. As he
there
said
was,
that.
there was a tinge of joy in that.
I thought that was Aaron.
No, I'm still here. I could leave. Leave you to it for a bit. Come back later.
Death.
The other option was Hunt goes 1 to beam up and the XO gets beamed up. Really? Seriously?
You never said who.
Why would they do that? Why?
Let's try that again. 1 to beam up. Aura goes.
Okay, we're down to 2. We're down to 2. You can do this.
Roulette. Oh, damn.